Hey Gengar Gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. In today's video, number 3 of our 18 part PSA Graded Return opening. Here is another box. Long story short, friends, if you are new to either this series, this channel, or just checking in because you haven't been on YouTube in a minute, I got a huge box of PSA cards, 40 pounds to be exact, and I have been opening them up 20 cards at a time. Part of that is to ensure that, the channel always has some PSA Graded Returns going on, but also to ensure that you guys don't get tired of looking at PSA returns. So that is the basic gist of it. We are 3 videos in, so make sure to go check out A, my mail day return video where I introduce the topic, B, the 2 other videos in the PSA Graded Return playlist, which will also feature the first 2 openings. Now, today we're basically going to be in the middle of Expedition. It's a weird story. Expedition had a lot of cards in the lot that I bought, so because of that there are tons, and I mean tons, of Expedition cards. There's also tons of duplicates, which also helps the cause, because ironically enough we ended up in a situation where, sometimes you'll have like 4 or 5 or 6 of a duplicate card. So because of this, today's video will be entirely Expedition, but in the next video we're actually going to be moving on to Aquapolis. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Here we have the first card for today is going to be a Alakazam holo foil. Really good looking card. I like that interesting artwork. And fun fact, there's a reason Kadabra hasn't been on cards. Pokemon was, long story short, involved in some brutal lawsuit with some guy who alleged that they basically bootlegged Kadabra off of him. So you'll notice occasionally that Kadabra is not featured on many cards after a certain point, and that is because of that lawsuit. So Alakazam is a rarity. This entire line is a rarity because they just chose to ignore this entire line, because it's also weird to introduce Alakazam and Abra without Kadabra. With that said, PSA 8. Alright, very cool. If you've been checking out the previous videos, you know that there's been tons of reverse holos, and those have actually done fairly well. In the last video we actually got a PSA 9 version of this card, a Venusaur reverse foil. I'm gonna go ahead and guess an 8. Ooh, a 7. I think that's one of the first times I've actually gone higher and PSA went lower on a card. Honestly, probably some surface hair scratches. Again, one of those things where it's like, what are you gonna do, cry over that one card that got a 7? Wah, wah, wah. Here we have a Vileplume. This is a reverse foil version of the card. I like this because it looks so dopey and happy. It looks like any one of a variety of anime characters, so I love this card. I'm going to go ahead and guess a 7. A 9. Wow. And honestly, looking at the back of the card, I could see why that got the grade it did. There is a little bit of whitening here, so this is one of those 9s where it's like, I don't think it's going to go ahead and surface back up as a 10, but I definitely see why it got the 9, and I agree for what it's worth with that grade. Here's another one. I'm gonna go get a this is a hard one. Let's go with a 9. Okay, a 9 again. Yeah, I could see the grader kind of looking at all of these the same way. That's one of my big fears when grading these cards, is that if you put them together, will they all just kind of be considered in bulk? And here is the third and final one in that particular set. I'm going to go ahead and guess at 8. Wow, he gave 3 9s in a row, which is rare, I think. But honestly doesn't surprise me also. Let's go ahead and see what we got here. So these are the holo foil versions of the same card. Fun fact, I had 3 reverse and 3 holo, so this is the first of 3 holographic cards. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and guess a 7. Wow, okay, that's pretty cool. Then let's go ahead and grab the next and bring it on screen. Fun fact, this one I love because this one actually has a really nice swirl right here. So you can actually see it right there. You can see the tail of it. It got clipped a little bit, but by and far, definitely a nice card. I'm going to go ahead and guess a 9 on this one. Very cool. Yeah, these were in like eerily good condition. So I guess the real question is, would one of them get a 10? And in case you checked out the other 2 videos, I do give myself 1 shot at a 10 every video. I will not be doing it on this card though. I'm going to go ahead and guess an 8 and a 9. Wow. So in case anyone's curious why I was guessing so low, there's so much holo foil here that my fear is that obviously sooner or later they're going to be like, oh, that's a lot of holo foil, my, and start scrutinizing it, and then the grade just progressively gets lower. But apparently that wasn't the cause with this particular set of cards. Here's a Weezing. This is the reverse foil version of the card. I love how like totally like cool that Pokemon looks. I feel like in the anime he always was a goofball with James, so to see him look so cool is nice. That is a terrible move, by the way. Misfire. If flip a coin, if tails, put 6 damage counters on Weezing. Basically after that it's a done it's a done deal at that point. So let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and guess a 9. Yeah, and I've seen pretty consistently, it seems like at least for the expedition stuff, it was whoever it came from or wherever it was sourced from, it was relatively well done, to the point that, you know, it's pretty good. And here is a Weezing holo version of the card. As you can see, the holo definitely drastically changes the way that the card looks, at least in my opinion. And you can kind of see what I mean there. Here's the reverse holo, and you can kind of see the clouds. Over in the holo version, it's a lot more difficult. If I hold the card right there, it looks the same, but down here, it looks completely different. And I love that about these cards. I'm gonna go ahead and guess a 7. Got an 8 on that card, which again is about in line with what we've been seeing in terms of reverse versus holo. Here we have another reverse. Let's go ahead and guess a 8 on this one. Got a 9. Very cool. Yeah, pretty clean, pretty simple. Nothing crazy there. Here is an Arbok, and this Arbok is very true to form. So if you notice, what's prominent on this artwork is actually the hood of the Cobra, which is what they say Arbok was designed to mimic. So if you look at this card right away, you kind of notice this is the thing that catches your eye, not the mouth of the actual Pokemon. And notice they drew in very faint lines for the head, and that again is on purpose to make sure that your attention is on the hood of the Cobra and not Arbok's Pokemon face itself. I'm gonna go ahead and guess a 7. Mint 9, very cool. Okay. Next up, we have one of my favorite cards out of the submission. Here is a Blastoise reverse foil. Now, if you are a fan of Instagram, I posted this card, and this was a little bit of a hit over that way. People like this artwork for some reason, so I'm very happy, and it looks really cool. This is a near mint 8. This was one of the cards, like, I handled this card out of the sleeve, so I will always and forever think it's my fault that it got the grade that it did, but that's quite alright. Next up, we have a Charizard. This is the regular non-holo version of the card. You'll also see this card is the position card. So as they were beginning to print these Pokemon cards, they also printed the 4 position cards. So this is one of the cards that they selected to lay that over on top of just for testing purposes. And those cards actually circle the market. I'm going to go ahead and guess a 9. Yeah, I thought so. No one's ever going to give... geez, I can't even think what it takes to get a 10 nowadays, but I imagine for a Charizard, it's not going to be an easy feat. Here is a Rev foil version of the same card. I'm going to go ahead and guess a 6 on this one. A 7, yeah. I feel like, you know what's weird is that, like, we've seen... So you figure that's the first non-holo we've seen, I think, in this entire run of cards so far. Like, I think we're at like 50 something cards, and that's the first non-holo we've seen. I kind of expected that to get a 10, but I was also suspicious. I'm like, oh, it's a Charizard. Why would they give it a 10? And you know what? So said, so done. So that's good. Here's a Cloyster with a really trippy background. I love this. It has like the Aurora Borealis / mosaic glass going across the top. Bring this artwork back. This is a good looking Cloyster. I'm gonna guess a 9. Ooh, a 4. Yikes. Alright, second time I've been called out on my garbage. Let's find out why. I'm gonna take this off screen super quickly and narrate to you what it is I see. Now, on the back of the card, there is a significant amount of whitening around the corners, but I think what ended up dinging this card is at the top of the card, there is a bit of creasing. I see what caused this card. So right up here, there's a bit of rippling from the back of the card, which is also pretty rough. Effectively, this card is creased across the top in like slightly diagonal lines. So this card looks like beat up pretty badly. You know, no big deal. I think it's one of those cards where it's like someone is going to want it because it's a 4 and magically that person collects 4s. And that's quite alright because I started out collecting misprint cards and banned cards. Here is a Doug Trio, a little bit more of a mainstream Pokemon, and it's a mint 9, very cool. Again, I think reasonably we can expect when we see a reverse foil, we already kind of know what it's going to be. Here is a Feraligatr as a reverse foil. I'm going to go ahead and guess an 8 because it's a 9. Wow, very cool. If you notice, and if you recall from last video, we revealed a Blastoise on that video, and that Blastoise was also pretty dope because it was basically the same artwork. It was in the swamp / water, and it was like half out, half in. So in this Feraligatr, he's kind of like in a swamp or something of that nature. I feel like Blastoise was in the ocean, but literally the same exact artwork. And if you notice, Venusaur and Meganium, also kind of the same vibes. The only, I guess, difference would be the Typhlosion and the Charizard, because Charizard's flying versus the Typhlosion, which is just kind of standing, chilling. Here is a non-holo Gengar. It's a 9. I basically expected as much. A little bit of whitening down at the bottom, and probably too much to ignore for a 10. Finally but not least, for today's video, friends, we have a Gengar reverse foil. How appropriate for the Analytic Gengar. I'm going to go ahead and guess. Look at that. Really cool. Wow, that's... I don't know why, but I feel like the holo foil on that, or the reverse foil on that, is really dope. I'm going to go ahead and guess an 8. Very cool for this card. Yeah, I figure, you know what? If it's coming after a regular card, it's going to be hard for the grader to kind of place their mind back where it needs to be at. But thanks again for checking out today's video, friends. That is box number 3 of what is probably going to be an 18-parter. So definitely feel free to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure to ring that bell notification icon so that you get notified when new videos come out. At present, I typically release on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but make sure to ring that bell just in case I release a video to keep you guys on your toes. Also, make sure to feel free to reach out if you saw anything in today's reveal that you would like to purchase. I have been slowly but surely trying to reintroduce these back into the market to collectors who are interested to have them added into their collection. So if you're interested in anything that you saw today, reach out. I will let you know what is available versus what is not. My email is down below, my Instagram is down below, and otherwise, friends, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Hope you all are staying safe. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the afternoon. Hope you all are doing well, and we'll talk to you real soon. Peace.